To introduce myself, I'm Dallas Stratman, and I have put together a series of videos that relate time-dependent revelation to the events that are going on in the world today. This series will include 10 parts. The first part will address what time-dependent revelation is. The second part is how different types of revelation impact the individual. The third part will deal with calendars that historically relate and determine time-dependent revelation. The fourth part is a discussion of three primary soul types. The fifth part deals with the properties of the soul in a quantitative nature. The sixth part deals with 7 soul types, and parts 7 through 10 deal with calendar events which impact and show what transpires with each of these soul types. During part 1, we'll address the following topics: what the true universe looks like, and how we relate to it, how we gain knowledge, items of knowledge, and how self relates to science, and how we process information, and different types of revelation that self will experience during their lifetime. And then we'll look at what a divine timestamp is all about. The first question we have is, what is the true universe, and how do we relate to it? If you look throughout history, theories have developed for everything. Cosmological theories, Copernican, Big Bang, oscillating, and a million others. Physical, medical, human behavior theories, theories about other people, businesses, and governments. People have theories about everything. And the true universe that exists, that we live in, if we stand back and are honest about it, is independent of what any human being believes it is. The true universe is what it is, and no man knows what the true universe really is, all aspects of it. We have lots of theories. So how does the individual relate to it? Every individual constructs his own set of models for the true universe that we live in. And it's interesting that no two individuals have the same set of models for the true universe. And thus, everyone believes something a little bit different, and sometimes very, very different. Though every individual is different, we also have a common triune structure. We all possess a body. The body provides the interface with the true universe, and its senses input items of knowledge and output responses to the true universe on our behalf. We also have a soul or mind. The soul receives the items of knowledge from the body and constructs a set of models for the true universe. We also possess a will, which in essence is the power that responds and is responsible for all the soul's decisions. And the output is based on the maximum will, or the maximum power that is generated. And the response can take different forms to the true universe. It can be speech, it can be movement, it can be writing, it can be a myriad of different responses are generated depending on what the particular item of knowledge was. We use items of knowledge to construct our model for the true universe. Then what are items of knowledge and what do they include? Items of knowledge include all inputs from all body sensors. And of course, we have eyes that give us sight and reading, ears for hearing, tongue for taste, nose for smell, nerves that sense temperature and pressure, extrasensory for those that we are ignorant of and are unaware. All these sensor inputs are continuously providing billions of items of knowledge to the soul every day. And all these items of knowledge are integrated into Self's various models for the true universe. The individual processes all items of knowledge received from the true universe using the following 7-step process. The first step is Self is ignorant of something if no model exists in his soul. In other words, if a person is totally non-existent in one's soul, the person is ignorant of that individual. When someone introduces you, then the new items of knowledge received by Self's body, the soul makes an observation which must be reconciled. In other words, as you're introduced to a new person, that new person must be resolved within your soul. The third step, the soul forms a new model based upon existing models and the new information received. In other words, if you are introduced to a new individual, the soul will take knowledge about people and will adjust it accordingly. The new person may be a male or a female, whatever. Yet it takes that information plus the new information received relative to the individual. If one encounters or continues to speak with the individual, the model continually adjusts. The fourth step, Self-Soul establishes an expectation or a hypothesis for the new model. In other words, based on existing models within one's soul, one establishes an expectation for the new individual. I will validate an expectation when the magnitude of Self's will stimulates body actions that are required for validation. For example, if you're introduced to a person, you may ask them a question. The response to that question brings us to step 6. The body then receives new items of knowledge that will impact the Self's current expectation. It's going to either increase Self's confidence in the current model, it's going to lower the confidence, or it may require Self to totally alter the model. These steps 2 through 6, are repeated throughout the remainder of Self's life. One may encounter a person a year in the future, and the model for that person will be updated. When the magnitude of Self's confidence in a particular model increases to a high level, it becomes his truth or belief. This is exactly what he will convey to others. An individual's maximum will for any model will generate all of his outputs to the true universe. It basically is establishing his expectations of the place that he exists in. Individuals, interestingly enough, are unaware that they are continuously processing all items of knowledge using the preceding 7 steps. Everything we receive from the true universe is processed in exactly the same way. Eventually, man has documented this process at a macro level and has called it scientific method. When an individual or group of like-minded individuals develop a particular model using the scientific method, they're called scientists. All scientists or individuals can only develop their magnitude of confidence in a model. They cannot prove that it is true due to ignorance. This is an important observation because you cannot prove truth. The characteristics of will be addressed in quantitative terms in Part 4, Quantitative Properties of the Soul, where we'll find that the magnitude of will is associated with the magnitude of love, priority, or what is important to an individual, and the magnitude of faith or confidence in a particular model. Now we will take and address how the various types of revelation impact the individual. Self encounters various forms of revelation. The most dominant one is natural revelation. This is the normal way that an individual receives items of knowledge from the true universe. Each individual will process all items of knowledge using what is known as the scientific method that we discussed previously. A large amount of self's items of knowledge come from reading or hearing or viewing other people or groups published models for how things function. We attend schools. We belong to organizations. We watch TV and movies. All these provide inputs into our various models. The remainder of self's items of knowledge come from observing nature in general. The second type of revelation that occurs when communication of items of knowledge to mankind is by divine or supernatural means, such as dreams, visions, or out-of-body experiences. Special revelation requires the existence of a revelator or curator, which is the most important aspect of it. The prophet receiving the supernatural knowledge must declare it to others or document it for it to be a valid prophecy. Society relates to the prophecy. That is, a nation will rise or fall, something will happen to a king. These are items of knowledge that relate and people are familiar with. A prophet is validated only when his predictions come to pass. A third type of revelation is time-dependent revelation that occurs when the society, the prophet, or the author are all totally ignorant of any aspect of an item of knowledge at the time a document is written. Then, after a long period of time passes, the required item of knowledge eventually becomes known to mankind through natural revelation. This probably occurs well after the time of the people involved in preparing the document have passed away. Once known, the item of knowledge provides new insight or understanding of the document. It also places a divine timestamp on the document and is a true validation that the true universe had a creator. What is required to validate a time-dependent divine timestamp? Validation of time-dependent revelation, being a divine stamp, requires an item of knowledge, first, to be identified within the original document. Secondly, it must be totally unknown to when the document was written to both society, the author, and anyone involved. Then the question becomes, since mankind's existence, have there been any documents authored that contain time-dependent revelation with a divine timestamp? This is the subject of Part 2, Self and Revelation, and it will address mankind's development and identify any potential divine stamps. This concludes Part 1 of the 10-part series on time-dependent revelation and today. All the material that's contained in this seminar is available at www.afjbooks.com. And if you have any questions related to the material, you can contact me at afjbooks@charter.net. Thank you for listening, and hope you participate in the remainder of the 9 parts.